Okay, before we go on to the next one, I just want to remind you that you will not see a compound inequality written this way. There are no words here like and or, just the way that's written with the x in the middle and the inequalities. Because this says x is less than this number and x is less than this number. Well, if you're less than 3, you're also less than 5. You will never see it written that way. This just says x is greater than two numbers. You know, you're greater than 2, you're greater than 6. Well, guess what? If you're greater than 6, you're already greater than 2. You will not see it written that way. They will not point away from each other or toward each other. And we recognize this as x is bigger than 7, x is smaller than 9. Well, that makes sense. That's an and. We see that written that way all the time, or you might see it written with the and without it being written like this. The one that I told you would not see on 12 and 13, and you did not, is where this says x is smaller than 4. There's that bell again. Or x is greater than 8. Okay, well, you can't be both at the same time. Therefore, this is an or. And the way you always saw that written was on the left side here, x is less than or equal to 4, or x is greater than or equal to 8. And that's fine. You typically don't see it written this way, but if you do see them both pointing to the right, you know that that is an or. All right, so don't freak out if you see it that way just because you didn't see it that way, or 13, 14. So they both point to the left and both point to the right, it's or. All right, so let's get started on our first example. We're going to do the same thing. You notice both of these are pointing to the right, so this actually reads as or. But something you need to know about K14 is just because it starts out as or doesn't mean it'll end up as or. And just because it starts out as and doesn't mean that it'll end up as and. So let's go ahead and work this and see what happens. 12 is greater than or equal to x minus 9. Okay. Need my variable on the left, so I spin the whole thing around. X minus 9 is less than or equal to 12. Okay. I add 9 to both sides. So I've got x is less than or equal to 21. Okay, that's fine. And now I'm going to focus on just this side of it, ignoring everything else. I have x minus 9 is greater than negative 14. Don't need to spin it around. I just need to add 9 to both sides. Well, negative 14 plus 9, that's 9 to the right of negative 14 on a number line, is negative 5. So now I have to ask myself, can you be bigger than negative 5 and smaller than 21? Yeah, there are numbers between negative 5 and 21, so that is an and, which means when I write it, both of my inequalities point left. Yeah, see how it changed? And I have another issue here. Is 21 the smaller number? No, negative 5 is, so I have to put negative 5 on the left. Put my 21 on the right. The only one of these that has an equal sign on it is the 21. So there you go. So as you can see, just because you start out as an and or an or doesn't mean you'll end up as an and or an or. And you need to make sure that you put your smaller number on the left side. Let's look at the next one. This one's already set up as an or, which is really nice. So I don't really need to block it out, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, just to prove my point to myself. Okay, x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 7. Take 2 away from both sides. X is greater than or equal to 5. Took 7 minus 2. Okay, and then on the right side, it's nice when they're or because they're already split up for you. Okay, I've got x minus 3 is less than negative 6. Add 3 to both sides. Well, 3 to the right of negative 6 on the number line is also negative 3. So I've got x is less than negative 3. Can you be smaller than negative 3 and bigger than 5? No. So this remains an or. So how I'm going to write it? I'm going to write it like this. Or I'm going to write x is, which one is the smaller number? It's negative 3. So we'll say x is less than negative 3, or x is greater than or equal to 5. However, just because I might see it like that, I might also see it a different way. And I guess I could write it a different way. Since it's an or, I could make both of my inequalities point right. Just showed you that in the last slide. Okay, put my x in the middle. Smaller number is negative 3. Bigger number is 5. There's an equal sign on a 5. So there you go. Whoops. Let me redo that. Geez. No. So let's see here. Okay. There we go. Make sure I get my equal sign on my 5. There we go. So it says the same thing. You should get used to being able to do those where they both point right. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, again, this one's broken up for us. So I'm going to go to the left. X plus 2 is less than 3, which means x is less than 1. Took 2 away from both sides. Over here, x plus 5 is greater than 10, which means that take 5 away from both sides. X is greater than 5. Can you be smaller than 1 and bigger than 5? No, you cannot. So that's going to be an or. I'm just going to go ahead and write this one this way. I could have written it as an or. Could put my 1 there, my 5 there, and my x in the middle. So you get the idea. Practice these. Have fun on the IXL. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.